Good morning. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America, and hello to anyone watching on replay. My name is Nancy Hetker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia, and I am here today with a few technical difficulties. Sorry about that. I don't know why Facebook isn't letting my live rotate to horizontal. I'm not pleased about that. I will do some research on that. Hi Sarah, hi Sonia. Thanks for joining me today. Let's see. What do I have for you today? I am excited because by this time next week we will have started on this new mini catalog and celebration in 2021. And I just want to let you know, if you do not have your physical copies of either of these brochures, let me know and I will be happy to send them out to you if you are here in Australia. Today I decided, about 30 minutes ago, that I was going to play with this celebration set that I was able to get early with a pre-order. It's called Corner Bouquet because obviously these sit down into a corner. Hello Paula and Karen, thanks for joining me. And yeah, so I've had a little brainspiration and thought I'd give it a play here. Yeah, I'm going to start with making a background though with my blending brushes. I jumped the gun and I bought some off the internet before Stampin' Up! Came out with exactly the same thing. I bet theirs are exactly like this. They've got white bristles and they look slightly different in terms of color, but they're exactly the same. And they come in a 3-pack with this one size. I bought a multi-pack that has all different kinds of sizes. I'll probably just use that one and maybe one more as I go. But what I decided to do was make a background, and I've got a piece of white cardstock here with and I chose Calypso Coral, Flirty Flamingo, and Mango Melody. We're going to see how those go. Yeah. So I'm trying to decide which one I want to start with. I think I'm going to start with the mango. And to use these brushes, I have to look and see exactly where this camera is showing. So to use them, you just wipe on there and then maybe do a little brushing off to not get a big ugly swatch. And then you just rub, and it's soft. I thought it might be kind of soothing to do today. I don't know if you follow me on my personal page. I hope you do. You're welcome over there, be my friend. I post a lot of food pictures over there because if I'm not making cards, I'm probably making food. And last night I took part in a Zoom cooking class through a Facebook group I'm in that is Americans in Melbourne. And it's actually run by an Australian woman who's married to an American and we made gnocchi, ricotta gnocchi, and she calls them sauces. They're basically combinations of cold ingredients that you then toss with your hot gnocchi, and they become sauces, I suppose. And Whoops. There you see I got a splotch. It went sideways and splotched. Anyhow, it was very, very rich. The gnocchi were pan fried in butter after boiling them briefly, and then I coated them in a very creamy feta with olive oil and olives. And anyhow, my tummy's not been, and my gut have not been happy this morning, but we're pushing through. We may have to decorate that a little bit right there. I'm not quite sure what I'm looking for here. I'm just trying to get a little more color built up. Okay. And then you can see, maybe, if I do right here, there's really no, well, there's some color coming off there. But not so much I'm going to worry about it. I'm going to switch to some Flirty Flamingo, I think. Looking to see how well you can see that. I can see the two colors are blending nicely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to bring in some Calypso Coral now. I'm turning my paper just because, so I don't, yeah. I know, it doesn't make sense. I'm crossing over anyway. There we go. So what's been happening in your weeks in between Christmas and New Year's? Let's bring in a little more Flirty Flamingo, I think, in there. Sort of blending and dragging some Flirty Flamingo down over the Calypso Coral. More Calypso Coral down here. Some stray marks up there. How fun. So I'm taking the middle color here and just doing a little blending out. And I think I'm going to go back in and do a little bit more. Clean off my fingers. How about? I'm picking up ink from the ink pad by not paying attention. Cleaning off the brush a little bit over here. And I'm going to come back with a little more Mango Melody, I think. liking that better now. More intensity down at the bottom. You can play with this forever and just keep building up and building up and building up. Yeah, I like how the brushes blend stuff together, and I like this color combination. I'm pretty pleased with that. Okay, I think I'm going to call it quits there. So, got ink on the side of this pad here. When I'm all done, and I know I'm all done, I'll probably go run this under the tap until it runs clear. But in the meantime, I can just get it pretty clean this way. In case I decided I wanted to do another one, a little bit of dampness on here isn't going to hurt anything, and I now have, yeah, that's now clean. I may not even have to run it under the tap. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for a few, and we're going to pull in this stamp set. So this is really the first look. This is the first time I've opened it. I don't have it mounted at all, so you get to see the whole process. I have been to the manufacturing facility in Kanab, Utah, and seen how they make these. And you can kind of see how they make it too. It's got some guide corners there, and the rubber material goes in, and they heat it with a die that stamps the stamp or molds the stamp, and then they put it through a machine that lines up and then die cuts the stamps out, which is great because when I started, they didn't come die cut. And so you just got a solid thing of rubber, and you had to hand cut all of them out. And depending on how good you were with that, often affected how well your stamp stamped. So that was not so fun. So I'm going to take these backings off too. Now, people differ in how they do this. I like to keep the frame because it keeps my stamps in place, and I can tell instantly when I go to put it away, I'm like, oh, I don't have the whole set there. So I like to do that. And now that we have these very clingy stickers, I do put the stickers on. Some people don't like the stickers, but I do now. We used to have these clear stickers, and they didn't really cling. They were called cling, and they didn't, but or these are called cling, and they do, and the clear ones didn't. So, okay. So there are a couple ways that you can do this. You can pull off this front split bit and line up your stamp like so. But I have found it a bit easier to actually take it and put it on a clear block. Now make sure this is the part that was facing up, and that's gonna, this side is the one that sticks to the stamp. You want to make sure you get that right, because that side is really sticky and hard to get off of things. So now I find it's easy to line it up like that, and it's stuck to the stamp, and now it'll peel right off the block. Okay, done. And that one can just go right back in its spot. So since I know I'm going to do that again, I'm just going to peel the whole thing off, like so. And now I can peel off the part that's going to go on the stamp. Sometimes it's nice to stand up and be able to really see. And then once it's down, it's down. We can peel that off. There we go. Okay, I'm not going to bother with the very little one right now. Oh, maybe I will, just to get it done. I don't have to worry about losing anything. These ones are actually the hardest because you have to figure out the orientation of the image. Like so, I think. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to start with the biggest one, and that may be all I use. I have this image in my head of what I'm doing, but sometimes it doesn't work out quite that way. And I actually, so you saw that it fit on this block, but a lot of times I find these kind of awkward to handle and place and what have you. So I decided I was going to bring in my Stamparatus, and I really like this when I get into larger stamps because the blocks are just a little awkward at times. So I'm starting with another piece of cardstock the same size. I just don't want to, I put so much time into the one that with the background. I'm just starting with this one just to make sure I don't mess anything up. I'm just kind of playing with where I might want this to be. Yeah, I think like that. So, you know, I don't even need to stamp it. I just need to see where it's going to line up. I'm playing with whether I want to have just that one, or I want to have something else on there too. I don't think I want that. I'm just going to go with the one. I can always go back and add more later. But okay, so I'm going to take that piece back out. Before I do this, I'm going to bring in my embossing buddy. I can't begin to tell you why Stampin' Up! Discontinued these. I think they are great. they put down just a little bit of powder. They got like cornstarch or talcum powder or something in there, and it helps dry things that aren't all dry. It keeps static and fingerprints from attracting things that you don't want attracted, like embossing powder. Because I think I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss this image. So I'm going to stamp in Versamark. And Versamark is that clear, very sticky ink. And it will grab hold of powder. Oh, so what I was saying about the embossing buddies. If you're in Australia and you don't have an embossing buddy, I think you should have one. And so I have a stash of them. They're not all, well, actually at this point, none of them are Stampin' Up! Ones. They're from other companies, but they're exactly the same. And I've got a stash of them, and I'm selling them at my cost, plus postage if you need postage, because I think every stamper should have one. So if you need one, let me know. I can see when I look at an angle that is on there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not. So I'm going to pull that out, move that aside, and then I'm going to bring in my high-tech embossing station, which is just a Stampin' Up! Box with a bit of ratty old grid paper in it. And I'm actually going to emboss in black. I could have just stamped it in black, but I decided I wanted the gloss of the embossing powder. So I pulled out my black embossing powder. You can see how that sticks on there and coats. I love moving my embossing powder into a food storage container so that I have room with a spoon. I can just do that. I don't have to worry about those little pots that they come in and dumping out onto paper and putting it back in. And my box keeps the spread of embossing powder contained, I find. And then because I use my embossing buddy, I don't have strays anywhere. But if I did, I would just take a little paintbrush and I would just brush them off. This one's big enough, I'm just going to hold it by hand. If it were a small piece, I would grab like pliers and either do that or hold it down. You can use your paper snips to hold it down. You can use the take a pick tool to hold it down, whatever. But I'm good to go because this is a pretty big piece. Bringing in my heat tool. Let it heat up just a little bit. And then let's watch the magic happen. Can you see it yet? It's starting to change. It melts and becomes glossy. I've got it all. Let's see what we can see. Can you see that in the light? Yeah, as I hold it there, you can see. Isn't that cool? I like how that looks. And now it just feels like plastic coating, really. So this set does not have any sentiments, so I need to figure out what I want to do for a sentiment. and how I want to do a sentiment. That part I didn't get thought through. So let me go pull out a sentiment set or two. So, I'm kind of thinking this one. This one says, wishing you your best year yet. I'm thinking maybe there. That could be a birthday greeting. And I'm still thinking, I'm trying to think about whether I want to just go ahead and stamp it in Versamark and emboss it in black, or whether I want to put it on another label and pop it up. I think just like that. Yeah, I was thinking about it as a sympathy card too. This one has, words cannot express the deep sorrow felt on your behalf. And I was thinking about that one. That would be nice too. But I'm going to go with birthday because thankfully at this point, I still have more birthday needs than sympathy. I'm just going to be double sure there. Now, if I had known what I was doing when I was stamping with the Stamparatus, I would have put both of these on the Stamparatus and stamped and embossed at the same time. But now you get to see me do it twice, so there we go. Let's just hope this stamps nicely. Yep, we're good. Okay, and for whatever reason, this one has a little bit of stray, so I will take my brush very carefully so I'm not sweeping more from somewhere. There we go. And then I can see that this is really curled up, so if I hit it just a little bit on the back, it'll uncurl a bit. There we go. Okay. Really wish I knew why Facebook messed around with things that are working great. Change things like not being able to rotate the camera. Okay. So I have a piece of Calypso Coral cardstock for a base. And I have this little black mat, which I think is just going to set it off. These are really, really thin margins, just a couple of millimeters. But I think that's going to work nicely, because the other thing I can do is cut it down. But I don't want to do that. So, okay, let's see how the gluing goes today. How's your dad and brother and niece doing, Paula? So when I glue, really, it's only on camera that things like that happen, right? I'm looking to see that I've got it even on all three sides before I put it all down. There we go. And that little bit I managed to do got me a sticky edge. So I get to show you the other thing that for some reason Stampin' Up! Discontinued even more years ago. These are adhesive erasers, and it's just a bit of natural rubber, and it's really good for taking off adhesive that I managed to get on the edge of my mat. And I also have these in stock at cost, because again, these are just such useful tools. Because I don't care how long you've been crafting, you need them sometimes. Okay, so I can just put that flat on there, or I could lift it up. I'm going to do it flat because it is such a tight margin. I'm just reading your update on your family, Paula. Oh, it's so sad, this COVID thing. There we go. I think I have, in my last order, I got these Artistry Blooms adhesive back sequins, and I believe let's look and see what we got here. Not those. Yeah, I need to put a sticker on here with the colors. Maybe not those. I think those are rich raspberry, but I think these are going to be nice on here. If I could just figure out placement, that's always my problem, right? We are not vaccinating here yet. We've been told maybe starting in March, and that's okay. We are not doing emergency authorizations for the vaccines. They're going through the regular approval process, and we feel comfortable doing that because we've got it so contained and so under control. Right now in New South Wales, there's stuff happening that has everybody going, oh my God! But it's because we've got like 150 cases, all connected to one or two clusters, and they're busy trying to track down. They've got like a missing link that they're concerned about. You know, we are not rampant. We have highly known and concentrated stuff happening here, so it's just not a big deal. Still trying to figure out what I'm doing here. But Karen, I'm not sure if you're asking me about restaurants and stores. Yes, we are open with capacity limits and restrictions, you know, people per square meter and things like that. But yeah, this week I've been to a department store, and I've been to do an exchange, and then we went out to lunch. And enjoyed that quite a bit. There we go. I'm gonna call it done. What do you think? And then, yeah, we've been going out. See, we've got Noah, so we pop out and we take a walk, and if we decide he's doing well, we push the boundaries a little bit by stopping and getting a coffee or having lunch out or some such. So, and on Friday for New Year's Day, we're meeting another couple at a restaurant. Usually we have huge fireworks, but they canceled those for this year months ago, and instead they've closed off some of the, we have streets and we have little streets, and they're closing off some of the little streets that have a bunch of restaurants on them to spill out into the street and do a food festival type thing. And so we're going to one of our favorite Chinese restaurants for a New Year's Day lunch with this other couple. So anyhow, I will stop babbling, and there is this card, and that's what I'm going to do today. I hope you enjoyed that, and yeah, I will be back again next week with more stuff. Just a heads up, if you follow me on my blog or my email list, or on my Facebook page, you're going to see some stuff talking about some changes and some new places to sign up to get communications from me. Please feel free to do that. Please do that if you like following my projects. I've been spending the last couple months, actually, but really the last couple of weeks, very focused on some changes I want to make for 2021, and I hope you will come along with that journey. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you again. Bye-bye.